At these brothers, man, I just want to speak for a moment to my leapers, to my jumpers, man. I want to speak. I want to speak directly to those, man, that are risk takers in life. Those that are saying, you know what, man, I refuse to live, 100 years and just live a mundane life. Like I want to experience things, whether it's you want to accumulate riches, whether it's you want to see different places on the globe, whether you want to experience different jobs, whether you want to meet different people. You just want to live outside the box that was given you. I'm talking to the jumpers, the quantum leapers, right? And what I want to talk about is like what we have to understand is that is more to the game than just jumping and landing, because we always, when we have this conversation, it's always about, starting the leap and the end outcome. But there are so many moving parts in the middle of that, man, that I feel like we have to discuss it, because just because you make that leap, just because you have, like Hannah says, just because you have knowledge of your power and the courage to dare, it doesn't mean you're going to make it to your end goal, right? But I'll say this. I do want to say this. Like by far the hardest part is jumping, right? Once you've made that jump, by far that is the hardest part. And when I say making that jump, coming out of your current state of awareness, coming out of that box, whether you've made leaps in life before, just coming out of that new norm, that you created that's now your regular life, and saying, you know what? Okay, I've accomplished this. Now it's time for me to do something else. And again, for you, that may be accumulating things. It may be seeing different places on the planet. It may be living in different areas. It may be meeting new people. It may be starting new careers. But whatever it is, you're trying to take that leap. What I want to talk about today, man, is you have to be aware of what goes on the inside of that jump. You have to understand, like when I say there are a lot of moving parts, there are a lot of things you have to be aware of. The main thing you have to be aware of is the changing of worlds. I would say that by far is what, one of the most important things is the changing of worlds, meaning the point in time when the old world is falling away and the new world is forming itself, right? And the quote that I'm always referring to when I'm speaking about this is from Sister Rasha in her book Oneness, where she talks about, and I'm paraphrasing, she talks about that journey is going to be an interesting journey. You're going to have some trials. You're going to have some tribulations. You're going to have some good times. You're going to see a lot of people, places, and things change up on you. But she said the one thing to understand is that when you see that old world falling away, understand that you're at the end. Understand that the end goal is only a few steps away. But what I want to talk about is in the midst of that, you have to make some major decisions, right? And one of those decisions that you have to make is like what stays and what goes. Again, I'm talking about when you see life crumbling, when you see your old world falling away, but at the same time, you can see that new destination. You can see the new ride. You can see the new job, the new relationship, the new place to live, whatever it is, you can see it. The manifestation is right there. But this world that's crumbled around you is like, I don't know what to let go and what to keep. So you have to become, I'll say, your own HR representative. You have to become a person that's going to be itemizing your life and seeing what goes and what stays. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of things that you think are supposed to be at the end goal, at the finish line when you get there, aren't supposed to be there. A lot of things that you see that are around you crumbling, that aren't going the way you think it's supposed to go, they aren't supposed to be there. A lot of the things, a lot of the possessions you really want to have, you really have an attachment to, you're going to want them to be at the end goal. But I'm telling you, like some of some of the cars and watches and homes and places you live, you have to understand that a lot of those things, sometimes the frequency won't match where you're going. The way you used to dress, the things you used to entertain, they really won't be at the end goal, especially when it comes to people. You know, in everybody's mind, you want to take every single person to that, I'll say, next level with you. You want to take every single person to that next, but I'm gonna tell you, when your world crumble, that is the most important time for you to audit your personnel, just like HR. You have to audit your personnel and say, you know what? Let me look at every single person in my life and say, who's bringing value and who's not. Who's really in my circle for a different motive than what they say, and who's not. Like I always say, man, everybody must go through the chopping block at certain phases of life, and this is one of them. Because you may think Joe Blow that you've been hanging out with for 3 years, that you met on the job, is supposed to transition with you. You may think that the woman you've been with for 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 10 years is supposed to transition with you. But these will be the very people that keep you from fulfilling the mission. They'll keep you from fulfilling the mission, man. That's why I say this, bro. And when I say this, I mean this. I believe a man must love hard. And I'm not just talking about relationship with women. If a person is in your life, man or woman, you should love hard, but at the same time become attached to nobody. There's not one single person in my life that if the last conversation I had with them was the last conversation I ever had, that I would be upset. Because I understand that a lot of times, a lot of people are going through things that you can't see. They're moving through life, calling plays that you can't see. And there may come a point in time where you no longer fit in their life. You know what I'm saying? And again, intimate relationships or buddy. I got some buddies, man, and I still call them friends that, man, we would talk occasionally, hang out, man, and whatever. And all of a sudden those relationships stop. And it's like, man, to be honest, there's no salt in my blood about that. Because at the same time, man, I got partners that maybe I've worked with, man, or maybe I used to hang out with, and all of a sudden it's just like, man, that chapter's done. Because that's just how kings move, man. That's just to be expected. You got to understand, like if you're a quantum leaper yourself, right? If you're a quantum leaper yourself, you understand, man, that all relationships have the ability to be temporary. They have the ability to be temporary. So, man, this is the point in time, man, where you have to conduct yourself as a human resource manager, if you will, man, and say, hey, you know what? Let me audit the people in my life, man, and see if they really need to be there, man. Right? And at the same time, man, you need to audit your vices, bro. I think during your quantum leap is one of the most crucial times to audit. When I say your vices, of course, we can always look at the weed and the alcohol, but all vices. Look at all your vices, man. Look at the future. Look at the future destination. Look at where you're about to be landing, and say, you know what? If I plan on surviving in this new world I've created, is this thing that I'm doing every day going to support this? It may not be bad for me watching 4 or 5 hours of TV per day. That ain't killing nobody. But can I sustain that lifestyle that will be required of me in this new world? It may not be a bad thing for me to have 4 or 5 women on my side, but can I maintain that lifestyle that I'm going towards? So this is the point in time, man, where you really have to be honest with yourself and audit your vices, bro. You know what I'm saying? But the main thing you have to ask yourself is, okay, the smoke is clearing. I can see everything that will be there now. That world is becoming, I can see the clarity in that world. Let me refine myself and ask myself, who do I have to be to maintain that world? And when I say who do I have to be, what I'm really saying is, really saying is this. During this vestibule, right, of your quantum leap, you really have to ask yourself, what parts of me, man, like what things have I done in my past? What parts of myself, habits and rituals associated with my daily life do I see floating around me that I have to correct before I land? Like, if the discipline isn't there, like, let me call it what it is before I land. Don't let me land there and find myself creating another bottom, living in another scenario. In this middle part of your quantum leap, man, audit yourself, bro. Audit your rituals, audit what you're doing, audit how you choose friends, audit how you choose relationships, audit your daily activities, audit how you plan, audit how you stick to your word, and be honest with yourself and say, you know what? If I plan on winning, I have to fix this. I have to take accountability for the things around me and understand that I'm the culprit for the outcome that I receive. I'm gonna tell you, man, quantum leaping is difficult in itself. But man, if you aren't willing to take accountability for 100% of everything and be willing to correct yourself, you have to be a self-corrector. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a person that says, you know what? Like I'll say it like this. Like, the system teaches us to always have a manager over us from day one. From little kids to, our parents telling us, hey, make sure you do this, to school, to college, to job, to everything. We're always living a life where somebody is saying, hey, make sure you do this. And we become institutionalized and don't even know it, to the point where when you have to make a decision for yourself, you really can't even do it. You really can't wake up and say, okay, you know what? There's nobody telling me what I have to do, who I have to be, and you become that. And I'm gonna tell you, if you aren't a self-corrector, then once you get to this halfway point of this quantum leap, you might as well you might as well pull the park brake, man. You might as well bust a U-turn, brother, because to complete this thing, man, you're gonna have to make some decisions that nobody can make for you, man. You're going to have to do some things. You're going to have to implement some things. You're going to have to, you're going to have to become a person and do some things that you didn't do back there in order to land this flight. You know what I'm saying? So again, just understand, man, that as much as we talk about quantum leaping, brothers, it is not just about saying, okay, I want to live a different identity. This is what I have to do. Let me just change this one thing and boom, voila, a new world will present itself. Now, brother, it's a path of many things, man. It's I know we call it a quantum leap, but it's a journey. It's a journey of many things. And I'm gonna tell you this: the journey to get to that end destination is I would say, I won't say by far, but is more enjoyable than reaching the destination. I'm gonna say it again. This life you want to live, this group of people you want to be associated with, this man you have to become to get a certain kind of woman in your life, this man you have to become to reach a certain level of health, to reach a certain level of wealth. The journey of getting there, the trials and tribulation to get there are more rewarding, or at minimum just as rewarding as the goal itself. Because this is the actual game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, getting it out the mud, man, as hard as it is, while we're doing it, once we get out, man, and we clean ourselves off, man, and we're still traveling, and you can still feel residue of that old self behind you, and you can feel how you've progressed in certain areas. But that feels just as good as once you cross the finish line and you've arrived. It feels just as good, man. So fall in love with the game, man. Fall in love with the game of Quantum Leap. Fall in love with the turbulence that comes with it, bro. I'm gonna tell you this. If you can't fall in love with the turbulence, man, you're not gonna make it. I'm gonna say it again, man. If you can't fall in love with the turbulence of traveling this path, you're not gonna make it. You know, I was out working with my stepfather, and I made a video, man. I made it for the brothers in the Power Circle, man. A little clip, and I was talking about how my stepfather said, you know, he taught me this lesson a long time ago, man. He said, let the pain do the work. You know, when I asked him for some insight once upon a time, I said, give me some life insight. He said, you got to let the pain do the work. And I know I'm getting off track, right? But I was like, speak on it. He said, you got to understand that when you're going through things, when you have your trials and tribulations, you know, in other words, when you quantum leap and what you thought was going to be is not, and you're in the middle of this thing, you're in limbo and storms are coming upon you and problems are coming upon you and relationships are falling apart and your money is looking funny. And the doctor is saying, hey, you know what? Your numbers are jacked up. And life is just in a state of chaos. He said, let the pain do the work. Let the pain cleanse you, because that's all it's doing. All the pain is doing is purging you. All the pain is doing is taking you to a state of zero to say, hey, you know what? You thought you knew how to do X, Y, Z. You thought you knew what relationships were supposed to be like. You thought you knew how to make money. Oh, you thought 50K was enough. You thought 100K was enough, and you still have this old mindset. I gotta bring you some pain just to show you how to make that M. Oh, you thought you knew how to be healthy. You thought the chicken and hog mogs and going low on the sodium was it. But I gotta take you to a state where your health is not the best. I gotta send you through some things to show you something. So when he said let the pain do the work, man, I took that as take joy in all of it. Take joy in the turbulence, man, because it's getting rid of something. And all I'm saying, brothers, is if you're going to be a person, if you're going to be a man, if you're going to be the type of men that wake up every day and say, you know what, I'm going to live life how I want to live it. I'm not going to try to get the approval or have to ask anybody to do anything. I just want to report to God and live the experience. If you're going to be that type person, bro, you got to fall in love with the turbulence, man, and you got to let the pain do the work. You got to let the pain do the work, man. Like I say, the principles, man, of achieving the things we want to achieve in life are simple, but the journey itself is a challenge. And I'm gonna say this too, man. Like when you talk about quantum leaping, man, like it's not all about going through, without any fault. In other words, once you get your mindset right, you make a decision and you leap. It's not about just having the perfect flight and having the perfect landing. Brother, you might have to respawn in some areas in life and redo some things over. You know, this goal that you planned on hitting in 3 weeks, this goal you plan on hitting in 6 months or 1 year, it may take you twice as long. It may take you 3 times as long. But fall in love with the process, man, and just let the pain do the work and just keep correcting yourself. Just don't stop. You may go a whole route, man, and find out it's a dead end and got to kind of backtrack out of that thing or reset yourself and do it again in mid jump. But if that's what it takes, man, it's what you have to do. The thing is, man, we have to become men that once we say we're going to do a thing and we pull the plug and we do it. We got to be men that say, you know what? I'm going to do it until it's done. Like now that I've started, there is no going back. You know what I'm saying? Now that you started this weight loss journey, there is no going back. Now that you done got with wifey and y'all done went through y'all's trials and tribulations, and y'all said, hey, you know what? This is what our relationship is supposed to be like. We done fine-tuned it. This is who we are now. This is how we're going to move now. There is no going back. Don't even talk about divorce after that point. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to be a person and you say, you know what, I'm going to quit my job and do my own thing. Then once you quit, say, you know what, I don't know what life is going to look like, but there is no going back. Yeah, I might go through some things, man, and I might have to get a part-time job and go flip some burgers, right? But my priority is still what I said I'm going to do. If I said I'm going to be an entrepreneur, then there is no going back. You know what I'm saying? Like I believe that when a person has an out, when a person has a plan B, then they're setting themselves up for failure. When they have a plan B, they're actually living life as a double-minded man. And you understand that if you have a dual mind, or if you have a dual truth, but you can create nothing but chaos from that. And y'all know what I mean. Y'all read the book, A Singular Truth. If you're living with more than one possibility in mind, you're actually creating with chaos. You actually have no idea what kind of outcome you're going to receive. Zero. In other words, if you say, okay, yeah, I'm gonna get healthy, but yeah, I think I'm gonna entertain fried chicken on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. But I want to go plant-based. But on Sundays and every other couple of weeks, I think I'm gonna go have me a fish fry or something like. You gotta understand that if that's how you're moving, then in 3 months when you plan on reaching a certain goal, you have no idea what you're gonna be. You have no idea what the outcome is gonna be. If you're saying I'm going to be in this relationship and I'm going to be faithful, but when Christina gives me a call, but when Angelina gives me a text when she come in town, I may or may not entertain it. You don't know what your relationship is going to be like in 5 years. You can't say, well, my relationship is going to be at least be to the point where I can say, hey, you know what? I was faithful the whole time. You don't know, because you have two different possibilities you're playing with. So when you say I'm going to hit a certain level of freedom, I'm going to hit a certain dollar amount, I'm going to hit a certain a position where I'm working by myself. As long as you have two different truths taking place, you really don't know. You really don't know. So all I'm saying is, when you make that jump and you put yourself out there, have only one destination in mind and one destination only. And understand that it won't be smooth sailing. Understand that when you pull that parachute, you still gonna have some problems you gotta fight with for a second before you get that smooth landing, man. You know what I'm saying? Let your pain do what it's supposed to do, man. Let your turbulence do what it's supposed to do. So all I'm saying is this, again, and I'm talking to my jumpers and my jumpers only. Understand that creating the new world and the whole awareness part, of course, that's going to be the hardest part. But don't think that just because you made your mind up to live a different reality, that now life is complete. But because once you get halfway, there's going to be a point in time, man, where you'll see both worlds trying to exist. You'll see your old world existed, and I'm talking about when you walk in life and you're living in your I am, meaning you're living in the mindset of your new world before you see it. That's how you're creating it. You're living in your new world before you see it, and your old world is still present. So you're walking in your I am. But there's going to be a point in time where your attributes, where your thoughts, where your actions are going to pierce that old world, or going to make it crumble. And you'll see that new world present itself. You have to understand that during this time, there are some things that have to be done. There's some things that have to be ignored. There's some decisions that have to be made to move forward, man. And again, you must become the human resource manager of your business. Because what needs to be done, nobody's going to be there to tell you. Nobody's going to be able to be there to tell you, hey, you know what? This person can't go. This vice can't go. This place that you frequent, this website that you look at on a regular basis, you can't maintain that to this new place you're about to land. So all I'm saying is, man, know what to expect during your quantum leap, brothers.